I'm so glad you're here with me tonight. I hope wherever you are in the world, you found a little pocket of calm to settle into. Maybe you're curled up in bed with the lights dimmed low, watching shadows dance gently across your ceiling. Or perhaps you're sitting in your favorite chair with a warm cup of tea, growing cool in your hands while the world outside grows quiet. Whatever brought you here tonight, whether it's curiosity about the mysteries of consciousness or simply the need for a peaceful voice to accompany you into rest, I want you to know that this is your time to simply be present with the quiet mysteries that science reveals to us. Tonight, we're going to explore something extraordinary that lives within you every single day, something so subtle and profound that most of us barely notice it happening, until those remarkable moments when it becomes impossible to ignore. We're going to talk about your inner compass, that gentle voice that seems to know things before your thinking mind catches up, that quiet intelligence that sometimes whispers warnings about people you've just met or fills you with sudden certainty about decisions that logic alone cannot explain. But here's what makes this journey particularly fascinating, what transforms tonight's exploration from speculation into genuine scientific discovery. We're not venturing into the realm of mysticism or wishful thinking. Instead, we're going to discover how quantum physics and cutting-edge revealing that your intuition might actually be one of the most sophisticated navigation systems in the universe, a biological quantum computer that's been operating within you since your very first breath. Now, I do hope this exploration doesn't accidentally become so intriguing that it keeps you awake when you'd rather be drifting off to sleep. Though knowing how the mind works, and having spent many nights myself pondering these beautiful mysteries, sometimes the most profound discoveries happen in that drowsy space between waking and dreaming, where logic softens its grip and wonder takes the wheel, where the boundaries between what we think we know and what we actually experience begin to blur in the most delightful ways. Before we begin this journey together, I'm genuinely curious about your own relationship with that inner knowing. Where are you listening from tonight, and what time is it in your corner of the world? Are you someone who trusts those sudden hunches that arise from nowhere? Or do you find yourself second, guessing every gut feeling that surfaces, analyzing it until its original clarity dissolves into doubt? Have you ever had the experience of knowing something was going to happen before it did, or felt drawn to make choices that seemed illogical at the time, but proved to be exactly right in retrospect? If this conversation resonates with you, or if you simply enjoy having science explained in a gentle way that honors both mystery and measurement, please consider giving this video a like and subscribing to our channel. It truly helps us reach other curious souls who might benefit from these quiet explorations of consciousness and the beautiful strangeness of being human. Just a gentle reminder as we settle in together for this exploration. While we're going to discuss fascinating research about consciousness, the brain, and the quantum nature of reality, nothing in this video constitutes medical advice. This is simply an invitation to wonder, to learn, and perhaps to see your own inner knowing through a slightly different lens, one that reveals the extraordinary science underlying experiences you may have always dismissed as coincidence or imagination. All right, take a slow, deep breath with me. Feel the air filling your lungs completely, then releasing with a gentle sigh. Let your shoulders soften and drop away from your ears. Allow your jaw to relax, your tongue to rest softly in your mouth. Notice how your body naturally knows how to breathe without any conscious effort from you, how your heart beats steadily without requiring your attention, how countless biological processes are orchestrating themselves perfectly in this very moment. This is your first hint at the profound intelligence that operates beyond the threshold of your everyday awareness. Tonight, we're going to discover how this same intelligence extends far beyond your physical body, reaching into the quantum field that surrounds you to gather information about future possibilities, helping you navigate through life with a wisdom that transcends ordinary logic. Have you ever had the experience of thinking about someone you haven't spoken to in months, only to have them call you within hours of that thought crossing your mind? Or perhaps you've walked into a room full of people and immediately felt that something was off, even though everything appeared perfectly normal on the surface. Everyone's smiling and making pleasant conversation, yet something in your body contracted with a warning you couldn't rationally explain. Maybe you've chosen one route to work over another for no logical reason, simply feeling drawn to take the longer path, only to discover later that your usual route was blocked by an accident that would have made you hours late for an important meeting. These moments feel almost magical, don't they? Like brief glimpses behind the curtain of ordinary reality. Hence that there's far more happening in each moment than our five senses typically reveal. What if I told you that these experiences aren't accidents or coincidences, but rather evidence of a sophisticated biological system that's been operating within you since the moment you were born? What if your body is constantly receiving and processing information from the quantum field around you, information that travels faster than light and bypasses your rational mind entirely, arriving in your awareness as physical sensations, sudden knowing, or subtle shifts in your emotional state that seem to have no obvious cause? This isn't science fiction or New Age speculation. This is presentiment, and it's one of the most rigorously studied phenomena in consciousness research today. The word itself comes from the Latin praesenti, meaning to sense beforehand. And that's exactly what your nervous system appears to be doing every single day of your life. Your body is responding to future events before they happen, creating what scientists call a presentiment response that can be measured with sophisticated equipment, quantified with statistical analysis, and studied in carefully controlled laboratory settings that eliminate every possible source of conventional explanation. Dr. Dean Radin, one of the world's leading consciousness researchers and senior scientist at the Institute of Noetic Sciences, has spent more than 3 decades investigating this phenomenon with the rigor and precision that mainstream science demands. In his carefully controlled experiments, participants are seated comfortably in a quiet room and shown a series of images on a computer screen. Some images are calm and pleasant, the kind that make you feel peaceful and relaxed, gentle landscapes with rolling hills and blue skies, smiling children playing in gardens, peaceful scenes that naturally evoke feelings of safety and contentment. Others are emotionally arousing, sometimes disturbing or startling images that would naturally cause your heart rate to increase and your nervous system to activate, preparing your body for action or defense. The fascinating part, the part that challenges everything we think we know about time and causality, isn't what happens when people see these images. It's what happens in their bodies several seconds before the computer randomly selects which image to display. The computer uses truly random processes to choose each image, quantum fluctuations in electronic noise that cannot be predicted or influenced by any known physical mechanism. Yet somehow, impossibly, participants' bodies begin to respond to emotionally charged images several seconds before they appear on the screen. Imagine yourself sitting in one of these experiments. The laboratory is quiet and comfortable, designed to help you feel relaxed and at ease. Electrodes are gently attached to your skin to measure your heart rate, skin conductance, blood pressure, and other physiological responses. You're told that you'll see a series of images, but you have no idea what they'll be. The researcher doesn't know either. No human being knows, because the images haven't been selected yet. They exist only as quantum possibilities in the computer's random number generator, probability waves that haven't yet collapsed into definite outcomes. Yet somehow your body knows what's coming. When an emotionally intense image is about to be randomly selected, your heart rate begins to change several seconds beforehand. Your skin conductance shifts as your nervous system prepares for emotional arousal. Your blood pressure fluctuates as if your body is already responding to something it has somehow sensed in the field of future possibilities. This isn't happening to people who claim psychic abilities or special sensitivity. This is happening to ordinary college students, volunteers who simply showed up to participate in what they thought was a routine psychology experiment. People just like you who had no idea their bodies possessed such extraordinary capabilities. When Radin first published these results in peer-reviewed scientific journals, The response from the mainstream scientific community was predictably skeptical, as it should be when confronted with data that challenges our most basic assumptions about the nature of time, causality, and the relationship between consciousness and physical reality. The implications were simply too radical for easy acceptance. If human beings can unconsciously detect future events, if our bodies are constantly sampling tomorrow's possibilities and preparing us for what hasn't yet happened, then our entire understanding of human consciousness and its relationship to time needs fundamental revision. But science is ultimately about evidence, not comfort or convenience, and the evidence for presentiment effects has continued to accumulate. The experiments have been replicated dozens of times by independent researchers around the world, in different laboratories, with different populations, using various modifications of the basic protocol. Meta-analysis combining results from multiple studies show effect sizes that are small, but statistically significant and remarkably consistent across different experimental conditions. The effect is real, measurable, and reproducible. Your body appears to be in constant communication with future possibilities, responding to events that haven't yet crystallized into physical reality, but exist as probability waves in the quantum field that surrounds and interpenetrates all matter. But how is this possible? How can your nervous system detect something that hasn't happened yet? How can your body respond to information that doesn't yet exist in any conventional sense? To understand this extraordinary capability, we need to venture into the strange and beautiful world of quantum physics, where particles exist in multiple states simultaneously, where the very act of observation changes reality, and where consciousness appears to play a fundamental role in collapsing probability waves into actual events. In the quantum realm, the microscopic foundation of all physical reality, nothing behaves the way we expect based on our everyday experience. Particles don't have definite locations or properties until they're measured. An electron, for example, doesn't exist at a specific point in space until someone observes it. Before measurement, it exists in what physicists call a superposition state, a ghostly cloud of probability that encompasses all possible locations simultaneously. The electron is literally everywhere it could possibly be, until the act of conscious observation forces it to choose a single, definite position. This isn't just theoretical physics or mathematical abstraction. This is the experimentally verified foundation of our technological civilization. Every computer chip, every laser, every piece of modern electronics depends on quantum effects that would have seemed like pure magic to scientists just a century ago. The quantum world is not separate from our everyday reality. It is the deeper level from which our everyday reality emerges, the invisible foundation that supports everything we can see and touch. Now, here's where quantum mechanics becomes relevant to our understanding of intuition and presentiment. Some physicists and consciousness researchers propose that awareness itself, the fundamental capacity to know and experience, doesn't just collapse probability waves in the present moment. Instead, consciousness might be able to interact with quantum possibilities across time, reaching backward and forward, through the temporal dimension to sample probability states that exist in what we might call the eternal now of quantum superposition. Think of it like this, and allow your imagination to paint this picture as vividly as possible. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a vast ocean, but instead of water, this ocean is made of pure possibility, shimmering waves of potential that extend infinitely in all directions. Every potential future exists as a wave in this quantum sea, some waves larger and more probable than others, some barely visible ripples representing unlikely outcomes, others towering possibilities that seem almost inevitable. Your consciousness is like an exquisitely sensitive instrument floating on the surface of this ocean, constantly detecting the approach of significant waves before they crash onto the shore of the present moment. This metaphor becomes even more powerful when we consider that in quantum field theory, all of space and time is filled with what physicists call the zero-point field, a seething ocean of virtual particles and energy fluctuations that exists even in the apparent emptiness of a perfect vacuum. This field connects every point in the universe to every other point instantaneously, creating what Einstein called spooky action at a distance. but what quantum physicists now understand as the fundamental interconnectedness of all things. Your body, your nervous system, your consciousness exist not as isolated entities, but as patterns of information and energy within this vast field of quantum connectivity. Every cell in your body is constantly exchanging information with this field, receiving and transmitting signals through mechanisms that operate far below the threshold of ordinary awareness. It's entirely possible that your presentiment abilities represent your nervous system's natural capacity to detect fluctuations in this quantum field, to sense when significant probability waves are approaching your particular location in space and time. This isn't just theoretical speculation anymore. The Institute of Heart Math, a research organization that studies the relationship between heart rhythm patterns and cognitive function, has conducted extensive research showing that your heart, not your brain, is often the first part of your body to respond to future emotional events. They've discovered that the heart contains over 40,000 neurons, creating what they call the heart brain, a sophisticated information processing center that appears to be exquisitely sensitive to quantum field fluctuations. In their groundbreaking experiments, participants are connected to equipment that measures heart rate variability, the subtle changes in the rhythm between heartbeats that reflect the dynamic balance between your sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. Like Radin's presentiment studies, people are shown emotionally charged images selected by a random computer process that ensures no conventional explanation for anticipatory responses. But the HeartMath researchers made a remarkable discovery that has profound implications for how we understand the relationship between heart, brain, and consciousness. The heart begins to respond to emotional images up to 6 seconds before they appear on the screen, and this heart response happens several seconds before the brain shows any change in activity. Your heart, it seems, is listening to tomorrow's emotional weather and preparing your entire system for what's coming. It's as if you have a quantum radar system centered in your chest, constantly scanning the field of future possibilities and alerting your body when significant events are approaching. But the heart's role in presentiment goes even deeper than early warning detection. The HeartMath research has revealed that your heart generates the strongest electromagnetic field in your body, an energy signature that extends several feet beyond your physical form and can be detected by sensitive instruments. When you're in what they call heart coherence, when your heart rhythm becomes smooth and ordered rather than chaotic and erratic, this electromagnetic field becomes more coherent and powerful, potentially creating stronger connections to the quantum field that surrounds you. Dr. Joe Dispenza, a neuroscientist who has spent years studying the relationship between consciousness and physical reality, has found that people in deep meditative states show dramatic changes in their electromagnetic signatures. Using advanced brain imaging technology, including functional MRI and quantitative EEG, he's discovered that when people enter what he calls elevated emotional states, combining clear intention with feelings of gratitude, love, or joy, their brains begin producing gamma waves that are far more coherent and powerful than anything seen in normal waking consciousness. These gamma waves, oscillating at frequencies between 30 and 100 cycles per second, represent moments of heightened awareness when different regions of the brain synchronize their activity in ways that seem to transcend ordinary cognitive processing. But here's the truly fascinating part that connects brain states to quantum field interactions. These heightened brainwave states appear to create measurable changes in the electromagnetic field around the person's body, as if consciousness, when properly focused and elevated, begins to broadcast a stronger signal into the quantum field that connects all things. Dispenza's research suggests that your electromagnetic field, the invisible energy signature that surrounds your physical body like an aura that science can actually measure, is constantly interacting with what he calls the unified field, the quantum matrix of pure potential that underlies all physical reality. When you're in a coherent state, when your heart and brain are synchronized and your emotions are elevated beyond the survival emotions of stress, anger, and fear, you become more sensitive to the information flowing through this field. You begin to function less like a separate individual, trying to navigate a disconnected world, and more like a conscious node in a vast network of intelligence that spans space and time. This begins to explain why intuitive insights often arise during quiet moments, during meditation, or in those peaceful spaces between sleep and waking, when your analytical mind relaxes its grip on reality. When you stop trying to figure everything out through logic alone, when you create space between your thoughts and allow your awareness to expand beyond the narrow focus of problem solving, you naturally become more receptive to quantum information that's always flowing through your consciousness, but usually gets drowned out by the noise of mental activity. But let's bring this back to your everyday experience, to the practical reality of living with quantum sensitivity in a world that often demands logical explanations for everything. How does this quantum sensitivity manifest in ways you can recognize and trust? How can you distinguish between genuine intuitive insight and the countless other voices in your head, wishful thinking, anxiety, mental projection, or simple coincidence? True presentiment, genuine intuitive knowing, has several distinctive characteristics that become easier to recognize with practice and attention. First, authentic quantum guidance arises spontaneously, without effort or strain. You're not trying to predict the future or force insights to appear through concentration or willpower. Instead, information simply emerges into your awareness, like a bubble rising to the surface of still water, often accompanied by a sense of quiet certainty that feels completely different from your usual mental chatter or emotional reactions. This spontaneous quality is crucial because it reflects the natural functioning of your quantum sensitivity, rather than the effortful activity of your thinking mind. When you try too hard to be intuitive, when you strain to receive guidance or force insights to appear, you actually interfere with the delicate process by which quantum information flows into conscious awareness. It's like trying to hear a whisper by shouting, or attempting to see stars by shining a bright light into the sky. Second, authentic intuitive guidance often comes with a quality of neutrality or emotional detachment that distinguishes it from wishes, fears, or mental projections. It's not what you want to be true, or what you're afraid might happen. It's simply information, delivered without emotional charge, like a weather report from the quantum field of possibilities. You might suddenly know that you should take a different route to work, not because you're worried about traffic, but because something in your awareness simply knows the alternate path will serve you better. You might feel drawn to call a friend you haven't spoken to in months, not because you miss them or need something from them, but because your quantum compass is detecting that this connection wants to happen at this particular moment in time. Third, genuine presentiment often manifests as physical sensations before it becomes mental knowledge, arising first in your body's wisdom before your thinking mind translates it into words or concepts. You might feel a subtle shift in your chest, a gentle expansion that seems to be saying yes to a particular choice, or a slight contraction that feels like a quiet no. Your stomach might flutter with anticipation when you're about to meet someone significant, even if you have no logical reason to expect anything special. You might experience what people often describe as a gut feeling, that unmistakable sense that your body knows something your mind hasn't figured out yet. This body-first quality of authentic intuition reflects the fact that your nervous system, constantly processing quantum field information below the threshold of conscious thought. Your cells, your organs, your entire biological system is swimming in an ocean of subtle energy and information that your rational mind cannot directly access. But your body can feel these currents, can sense the approach of significant events like a sailor feeling changes in wind and weather long before storms appear on the horizon. The key to developing trust in your quantum compass is learning to distinguish between the quiet voice of genuine guidance and the louder voices of fear, desire, and mental projection that often masquerade as intuition. Anxiety about the future creates tight, constricted sensations in your body and tends to spiral into worst-case scenarios, creating stories about potential disasters that feel urgent and compelling, but lack the calm certainty of true knowing. Wishful thinking feels expansive and exciting, but often carries an undertone of desperation or attachment, that betrays its origin in desire, rather than neutral awareness. Genuine presentiment, by contrast, feels calm, clear, and somehow inevitable. As if you're remembering something that is already, rather than predicting something that might occur. There's a quality of timelessness to authentic intuitive knowing, a sense that the information you're receiving exists outside the normal flow of linear time and is simply being revealed to your awareness in this particular moment. Your nervous system, this extraordinary biological computer that you carry within your skull and spine, has been shaped by millions of years of evolution to detect threats and opportunities in the environment with exquisite sensitivity. But modern quantum physics suggests that this detection system operates far more subtly and extensively than we previously imagined. You're not just responding to immediate sensory information from your five senses. You're constantly sampling the probability waves of future events, feeling into the quantum field of potential outcomes, and adjusting your behavior accordingly, usually without any conscious awareness that this miraculous process is taking place. This is why you sometimes feel inexplicably drawn to be in certain places at certain times, why you occasionally meet exactly the right person at exactly the right moment in ways that seem far too meaningful to be mere coincidence. This is why solutions to problems sometimes appear in your mind, just when you need them most. Why you sometimes know things about people you've just met that they haven't told you. Why certain choices feel absolutely right even when you can't logically explain why. Your quantum compass is guiding you through the maze of infinite possibilities, helping you navigate toward outcomes that serve your highest good and the good of all life. But here's something even more remarkable, something that transforms you from a passive receiver of quantum information into an active participant in the creation of reality itself. The research suggests that your ability to sense future probabilities isn't just passive reception. Your consciousness, your focused attention and elevated emotions can actually influence which probability waves collapse into physical reality. When you align your heart and mind in coherent states, when you focus your attention with clarity and elevate your emotions beyond the survival patterns of stress and fear, you begin to broadcast a stronger signal into the quantum field. This signal doesn't just help you sense what's coming, it helps determine what actually manifests in your experience. You become both receiver and transmitter, both navigator and destination, both observer and creator of the reality you experience. This is where quantum physics meets practical spirituality, where hard science validates what mystics and wisdom traditions have taught for thousands of years across every culture on Earth. Your consciousness is not separate from the universe around you. You are not a tiny, isolated fragment of awareness trying to survive in a vast and indifferent cosmos. You are an integral part of the quantum field itself, a focal point of infinite intelligence through which boundless possibilities organize themselves into specific experiences, relationships, and events. The implications of this understanding are profound and practical. If your body is constantly receiving quantum information about future probabilities, then learning to listen to this guidance becomes one of the most valuable skills you can develop. Instead of relying solely on logical analysis and past experience to make decisions, you can learn to attune to the subtle signals your quantum compass is always broadcasting, integrating rational thinking with quantum sensitivity to navigate through life with unprecedented wisdom and grace. This doesn't mean abandoning rational thinking or making important decisions based solely on fleeting hunches or emotional impulses. Rather, it means developing a more integrated approach to navigation, one that honors both the analytical power of your conscious mind and the quantum sensitivity of your deeper awareness. It means learning to feel into decisions as well as think through them, to sense the energetic signature of different choices before committing to a particular path, to trust that you have access to information that extends far beyond what your five senses and logical mind can provide. Imagine approaching your life with this kind of integrated awareness, this marriage of quantum sensitivity and practical wisdom. Before accepting a job offer, you don't just analyze the salary, benefits, and career advancement opportunities. You also feel into the quantum field around that opportunity, sensing whether it aligns with your deeper purpose, whether the people and environment will nourish your growth, whether this choice leads toward experiences that serve not just your personal success, but your contribution to the larger web of life. Before entering a relationship, whether romantic, business, or friendship, you don't just evaluate compatibility on paper or assess whether the other person meets your conscious criteria for partnership. You also attune to the energetic resonance between yourself and the other person, feeling whether your combined electromagnetic fields create harmony or discord, whether your quantum signatures enhance each other or create interference patterns that will lead to conflict and disappointment. Before making any significant choice, you can learn to pause, breathe deeply, and feel into the different options with your whole being. You can sense which paths feel expansive and alive, which choices create a sense of opening and possibility in your body, which decisions align with the deeper currents of meaning and purpose that flow through your life, like underground rivers of wisdom. This isn't about becoming passive or waiting for the universe to make all your decisions for you. It's about recognizing that you have access to a vast intelligence that extends far beyond your individual mind, an intelligence that can guide you toward experiences of greater fulfillment, creativity, and service. It's about trusting that the same quantum field that guides migrating birds across thousands of miles of open ocean, that helps plants grow toward sunlight and roots find water, is also available to guide your choices and illuminate your path. The research we've explored tonight reveals that you are far more connected to the fabric of reality than conventional science has acknowledged. Your heart is listening to tomorrow's emotional climate with the sensitivity of a quantum weather station. Your nervous system is sampling future probability states like a cosmic radio receiver tuned to frequencies beyond ordinary perception. Your consciousness is both receiving and transmitting signals through the quantum field that connects all things, making you a participant in the ongoing creation of reality, rather than simply a passive observer of predetermined events. This isn't mystical speculation or wishful thinking. This is measurable, replicable science that's revealing the true nature of human awareness and your relationship to the cosmos. You are not a separate, isolated individual trying to navigate a chaotic and unpredictable world through willpower and luck alone. You are an integral part of a conscious universe, equipped with sophisticated guidance systems that can help you align with the deeper currents of meaning and purpose that flow through all existence. As you continue to develop your relationship with your quantum compass, you'll discover that life becomes less about struggling against circumstances and more about flowing with the natural intelligence that surrounds and interpenetrates every moment. You'll find that the right opportunities appear at the right times, that helpful people show up just when you need them, that solutions emerge from unexpected directions when you trust the guidance that's always available to your deeper awareness. You'll learn to distinguish between the voice of fear, which contracts your energy and narrows your vision, and the voice of wisdom, which expands your awareness and opens new possibilities. You'll discover that your intuition becomes stronger and clearer the more you trust it, like a muscle that grows stronger with exercise or a friendship that deepens with attention and care. Tonight, as you settle into sleep, pay attention to the subtle sensations in your body, the gentle currents of knowing that flow beneath the surface of your everyday thoughts. Notice the quiet wisdom that arises without effort or strain, the soft guidance that points you toward tomorrow's possibilities like a compass needle finding true north. Feel the gentle presence of your quantum compass as it connects you to the infinite intelligence that surrounds and supports your journey through this beautiful, mysterious, and deeply interconnected universe. You are far more connected, far more guided, and far more capable of creating positive change than you might have ever imagined. Your consciousness is a miracle of cosmic evolution, a focal point of infinite awareness that has the capacity to receive guidance from the quantum field and to influence the very reality you experience. Trust this extraordinary gift. Honor this remarkable sensitivity. Allow your quantum compass to guide you toward a life of greater meaning, purpose, and joy. Sweet dreams, dear friend. May your rest be peaceful, and may you wake tomorrow with renewed trust in the wisdom that lives within you and all around you. In the quantum field of infinite possibility that is your true home.